We have a few minutes. We can give ourselves about 10 minutes, I think, in terms of questions. So in relation to the afternoon papers then, does anyone want to start the ball rolling in terms of questions? Yes, at the back.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is for Eric and his first presentation of the day. If we're in a period of such massive and rapid environmental change, isn't that reason enough that the salmon that do return, we should not be exploiting any of them because they are our genetic future?
Oh, Eric's here, yeah. Can I just hand you the mic, Eric?
Yeah, I'm a purist. That's what I'd go for that. But equally, I think it depends on where you're salmon fishing. So certainly in the southern rivers that are more threatened, but I think that would be a good strategy. But equally, I think we need to think a little bit beyond that. Why do we have climate change? If we're saving salmon, we should be focusing on some of the issues that are underlying climate change, and we probably need to look at ourselves there in our behavior. So I know that's a little bit of maybe a cop-out, but actually we need to make bigger steps. But on the positive side, if we warm up significantly, we're going to open up the whole of the Hudson's Bay in North America to salmon spawning and migration. We may have more salmon in North America than we've had for a long time. You know, we can be doom and gloom merchants, or we can accept that change is inevitable. And you know, the fishermen on the Allier, they find 7.4 meter catfish highly desirable to catch. But equally, they're like the pike fishermen. They also put them back so they can catch them again. So I don't know that there's a simple answer to that, but certainly if you have a threatened population, you shouldn't be angling it. Start catching fish on camera instead, or exploit them in some other way that's non-destructive.
Yes, please.
It's time for the silly question of the day. I've got one for Richard. You've obviously done a lot of work in the bush catchment about habitat enhancement. Is there more that can be done at that top end to reduce the temperature differential? Or is it something that's been driven elsewhere by climate change? You can't do anything locally.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent we're at the mercy of the climate. There's not much we can do about sea surface temperatures. In terms of habitat enhancement on the bush, that is something that we have been trying to work through over the last number of years. I know my colleague sitting beside me here does an awful lot of work on the bush. One thing where we can potentially have a bit of an impact is in some of these drained stretches of the river where the trees have been removed, where the river has been widened, where temperature is perhaps a little bit higher than it should be naturally, and through the use of fencing and planting trees and whatnot, I think there is something we can do to compensate in the catchment. But in terms of the wider scale, sea surface temperature, river temperature, we're probably in the lap of the gods there.
Over the last few years, we've been finding that water temperatures in the northeast of Scotland have been going up and up, and we've been recording, and others have been recording, friends in Marine Scotland Science have been recording temperatures over 25 degrees C on a more regular basis. So we've just started the first steps over the last 4 years of planting about 70 kilometres of trees up in the headwaters of the Dee. Unfortunately, it's high up, and it's going to take a long time for them to grow, but you have to plant them at some stage. And then we wait, and it's how quickly they'll grow compared to how quickly the temperatures will go up.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes? Then I'll take you down. Yeah.
Yes, a question for Eric. I was really intrigued.
We might get you to shout if you would, because it's difficult to put sound
back.
Yeah. Thank you.
Question for Eric. I thought it was really nice
nice to hear those long distance migration and short distance migration. It's really interesting. And I'm wondering, is there any data that gives you an idea what is there a difference in their behavior profiles between the individuals within the population that migrate very short and migrate long in terms of metabolism or personality traits and anything else? Because there is data, I believe, suggesting that fish hatching earlier had a higher degree of metabolic rate and also more exploratory. Could that be reflected in the degree of migratory you see in terms of short-term or long-distance migration?
Yeah, I don't know of much more information that specifically addresses that question. I suspect if you mined the literature, you'd probably find lots of nuggets that would be relevant and suggestive. But I think this is, while Richard might have been slightly offended by my comment on single river studies are not relevant, I think they're relevant. What they should be done is in a network of comparison of what is going on in different rivers, and then we would learn more about what makes rivers behave in the way they do and why they are, say, differ when we do study them. So I think we need more studies of this type, and we need to understand the extent to which each river is different. And I've been very fortunate to travel over a large part of the salmon range, and Atlantic salmon are incredibly adaptable, going from small salmon that are 6 to 8 centimeters long, fully mature males and females, stream resident, don't travel or migrate at all, to ones that migrate huge distances in fresh water, 120 kilometers, using big lakes as the seas. The Baltic is a good example of that, to what we in Scotland assume is typical salmon. And every time we look, we see variation. We don't look. That's part of the problem. We have this mindset that says all salmon are the same. And we need to explore the differences, because these differences will come out as the environment changes. We will see different populations stressed in different ways.
Any further comments?
Has any research been done on the effects of windmills? I mean, I know it's probably the incoming fish that have little magnets in their heads and things, but there's these sea windmills appearing off our coasts, all which will have rather large conductors, which in themselves will be creating magnetic fields. And I just wonder whether they might put them off course, when they get lost, or do they just sort of float to where they want to be?
I'm certainly aware that Marine Scotland has done work on that. Is John there? Yeah.
Yeah, we did. And we couldn't find any evidence that... oh, sorry. Yeah, we had a look at the effects of AC magnetic fields on salmon, and we couldn't detect any response. If I may, while I've got the microphone.
Yes, of course.
Just to add a wee bit on, can we do something about temperatures in upland areas? We have a network of temperature monitoring in Scotland now, which a lot of the local biologists are feeding into. And we are developing models to look at where we can plant trees to really make a difference. So I think we've got tremendous opportunity to fight climate change. And we should also bear in mind that a lot of our environments are not very natural in any case. They should have far more forests. So we can do a lot. We need to start working now, and we can get ahead of the game. So we should be quite positive, I think.